It's gonna be a great day. The sun is shining, the day is bringing surprises, so I gotta do my thing and help my friends win. We're on a collective mission to elevate our positions, to collect the funky dividends. So I offer a helping hand to my fellow sisters and brothers, encouraging them to...
Hi everybody, welcome back to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. This is my January 2026 end of month monthly update. And last year I only started part of the year doing end of month spending updates. This year we're going to go through the whole year and see how much debt I pay down in 2026. So let's get started. As you can see, I put $276.90 towards charitable donations. Those are private things that I don't want to talk about publicly, but I want to track the spending on those. As you know, I went on vacation this month and I spent a boatload of money on restaurants. And that's what I've mentioned before, is that I try to live on less than $900 a month when I'm home. But when I'm on vacation, the barn doors are open. I am going to enjoy life and enjoy my travel. So I spent $810.57 on restaurants. I spent $369.90 on vacation hotels. Now keep in mind, when I went to Maui, I paid for my resort before I went to Maui, which was a first for me. Normally I would have put that on my credit card and paid for it later. So I am getting better with my spending on vacation by paying for most of it prior to going. So vacation gas, $36.89. Regular gas here at home, which actually was this evening, I put gas in my car for $21.01. And that's all the gas that I've spent in my car for this whole month. We're also expecting a lot less money being spent in February, because when you see how my debts have increased, then you'll know what it is I'm talking about. $72.95 on my internet, and that goes on my credit card, and that's why it's tracked here. The $101.24 is for my pharmacy for my A1C monitor that I buy and took with me to Hawaii. It goes for 2 weeks, and so it ran out and I had to replace it with another monitor. I did not spend any money at Sam's Club. However, I did get $100 in cash to go to Hawaii just in case I needed to tip someone in cash. Now, while in Hawaii, I did have expenses for Uber. So I spent money on Uber the first day I was there, which is part of my vacation spending. But also, I had a friend that rented a car, and I rode with my friend for most of the week. And then I paid my friend back for money that my friend had spent on experiences such as whale watching, the luau's, and gas and partial rental car fee. Because my friend picked me up all week, I felt it was only fair to pay my friend back for that. Here we are with the grand total for this month. Now, this does not count what I gave my friends for the experiences in Hawaii. That's going to come out as my total credit card charges. And so what I've spent here in my town and on my own hotels is $2,046.48. Now this means that I spent less than I spent last month. So December and January were very spendy months for me. And when you see the credit card spending, you'll see that my credit card balance is up. However, you'll also see that my savings rate is quite high. And they don't seem like they match, but I'm going to explain that when we get to it. In January, you can see that I only made the minimum payment of $163. That's because as an adjunct professor, you don't get paid when the classes start in January. Typically, the paychecks start coming in February. So I knew that I would have money in February to start paying down the balance. So I started my credit card balance at $20.91 at the beginning of January. I ran that bill up $7,479.49 plus $36.63 in interest. Therefore, I have a much larger credit card bill. One of the things that I've explained on my channel that I'm trying to stop doing is my credit card is either zero or maxed out. That's it. I don't have an in between where I keep a running balance of $100 or something. No. Once I start using that credit card, it is zero or max. So the next goal is to pay it down to zero as fast as possible. And you all are going to go with me on that journey. So my credit card balance is $7,374.03 at the end of January. Let's look at my line of credit because these are the two bills that I really want to pay down. So my line of credit, I paid $696.90. That was the minimum payment. I also paid an extra $2,000. And this is where I want to explain why I have such a high savings rate for January. And I'll show you my savings rate shortly, but it's a very high savings rate to start the year. That's because in January, I fully funded my HSA for the year. I knew that I was running up credit card debt, and I knew that I was running up line of credit debt. However, I wanted to fully fund my HSA for the year so that it can sit in the stock market the entire time. I know that in February, March, and April, I will be hammering on these debts to pay them down. But I did not want to take the money from my HSA and put it towards debt. So as you can see, I increased my debt by $5,208.91 in January. So I am planning to pay that off in February, March, and April. That's when I will get more paychecks from the colleges. I had originally planned to put most of that money into retirement accounts. However, one college I'm putting into retirement accounts, another college I'm bringing that money home so that I can pay down debt as fast as possible. Let's look at my current retirement account balance because we're trying to build that up. We're also trying to build up the brokerage account, which I didn't put any money in January into my brokerage account. But my high savings rate is because I put money into my HSA, and I also, for the very first time, put money into my high yield savings account to pay for rental property taxes. Normally, I wait until the end of the year in December and I scrape together however much money I need for rental property taxes. Well, going forward, I am going to set that money aside every single month. And that way, at the end of the year, I have the rental property taxes. These are categories that I'm going to start funding, sort of like sinking funds. This is a new way of me doing business in my personal finances. So, my current balance in my retirement account is $139,543.44. I typically track it at the end of every month. I don't look at it day to day. But keep in mind, I put in $790 from one of my school paychecks into these retirement accounts. So that does help boost it a little bit. Now, every month I will be putting $790 twice a month into this retirement account until I pay off my debt, and then I will put more money into retirement accounts, sinking funds, and brokerage. So here we have it for January. My savings rate is 88.39%. And you might say to yourself, well, it's not really 88.39% because you went deeper in debt. We're not talking debt to savings. What we're talking about is from the income that I had come in, how much of that income did I put towards savings or investments? And so I did not pay on my credit card, as you know, but of the income that I had come in, I put 88.39% towards savings and investments. Now that may go down every month because keep in mind, I'm going to get my very first Social Security check in the middle of February. That again will go to pay down debt. Everything that comes in will go to pay down debt and put a little bit away for my property taxes because that is the first thing that I need to put money away for. Also, I am going to owe the IRS come April. So I need to pay off as much as I can in February and March so that when the April bill comes in for the IRS, I have the money to pay the IRS. So my life is a hot mess. I just wanted to show it to you and give you the real picture of how my finances actually are in January of 2026.